I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. This feels weird. It's weird being back in City Skylines 1. I don't know how I feel about this. Well, I do know how I feel about this. I'm actually kind of excited about this because City Skylines 2 has a lot going for it and I'm enjoying it. There are problems with it, but my particular save in City Skylines 2 is crashing a lot right now. And I think it's because of some mods that I have installed. So I figured, you know, probably safer to test that out and see what I can do, see if I can fix it, and basically just not push my luck. I don't want to risk my save corrupting. I just want to make it work. And so in all of my wisdom, I decided to come back to Vanillaville, where I'm going to play with mods. I said I was going to hold off on doing this, but I've installed like 12 mods. Some of them are dependencies. Some of them you'll be familiar with. There will be a link in the video description to check out what I'm using. I'm not using anything crazy. There's no assets, no new roads, no new buildings, nothing like that. It's just stuff to make traffic flow better, stuff to adjust intersections, surface painters, stuff like that. Nothing crazy. And you know, I've got to be honest with you, I've got no idea where to start. It's been so long since I've seen Vanillaville. I'm also running some visual things. I don't think it's too different from base game City Skylines, but the lighting is a little different and we don't have the purple stuff from pollution anymore. So it looks a little different to how it used to. But what I'd really like to do is I'd like to come down here and I'd like to look at this intersection because it's ever so slightly annoying me because I think I can make it better. I haven't used Traffic Manager in a very long time. And so you'll understand why it makes me really excited to do this. I don't need to do this. I know there's a button in this mod that will just do this for me, but I haven't done this in so long, and just doing that makes me so happy. I love it. I could also do timed traffic lights. I could do give way signs. I can change speed limits. I can set up junctions to be better than they are. There's so much that I can do now that I can't do in City Skylines 2. And again, I love City Skylines 2. I've been having a lot of fun with City Skylines 2. But man, I've missed some of this stuff, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, for those of you that don't know what this city is, because I know there's a bunch of new people that have come around to the channel ever since City Skylines 2 launched, this was my final unmodded series for City Skylines 1. This is a city called Vanillaville because it was vanilla. There were no mods, nothing from the Steam Workshop. It was just the base game and the DLCs. It is now modded. There will be a playlist link in the video description, but there's a lot of stuff we did with this city that I love and adore. I love this highway cutting through here. I love the trees, like all of this decoration, all of these decals, all the little things, all without mods. And I think for an unmodded city, it turned out pretty well. There is some jank going on. For example, the train line. I absolutely can't stand it, but I have 25 tiles now. I do have the 81 tiles mod, but I haven't unlocked all 81 tiles because I don't think I need them. What I would like to do though, is I'd like to come in here. I'd like to move this train line and I'd like to sort of smooth out this terrain a little bit more because this little international airport, I mean, it's okay. It does what it needs to do, but this cliff, nah, we need to do something about that. So I do need to move this train line and that's what we're going to do. I will say, I really miss in Cities 2, you can like click here, drag and click down here and it'll just delete everything in between. That's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but man, this is going to be a lesson in how much of City Skylines 2 have I already gotten really used to, and I'm struggling to adapt to going back to the first game. Oh man, it's going to be interesting. This is going to be really, really interesting. So what I think we'll do is we'll just use the level terrain tool. We'll get ourselves a little bit of a brush. We'll go for something maybe that size, full, I don't know, round shape on it, maybe a little bit smaller than that. I want to grab this height where this track is, and I'm just going to bring this sort of straight through. Obviously, this can be smoothed out later on, but I want this to run nice and straight to the edge of the cliff the entire way down there. I don't think it costs me anything because I'm using the extra landscaping tools mod now. So we'll flatten this all out. We'll go over to this other side as well, and we'll try and just line this up. Kind of similar to what we've been doing in the sequel, where we'll just sort of line things up and fix it sort of after the fact. Now, in saying this, I'm not entirely convinced that it's going to let me do as much here as I want to. I'm not really sure if it's going to actually let me bridge across here nice and easily. I'm really hoping it will. I do have some anarchy mods as well, so here's hoping I can get away with this, but we'll give it a shot. we'll see what we can do. We'll get ourselves a nice train. Wait, I don't have a train station, so I can't build train tracks. Oh man. Okay. Where am I going to build a train station? Because I don't need one. I mean, I could build one by the airport, I guess. I guess we'll build a train station, but that's what we're doing today. We're building a train station. We don't need one, but we're building one. I guess we can also use this opportunity to just go ahead and flatten out all this terrain around the airport. I'll do some detailing with this as well to make it look a bit better, but we'll just go ahead and bring this out so the runway isn't right on the cliff. There is going to be some smoothing in there eventually, but this will do for now. And then all I need to do, I think, if I can remember right, is bring this road sort of, oh man, wait a minute. This doesn't work in Cities 1, does it? Damn it. Oh, I'm already missing that, being able to just drag the road straight through. That is a SimCity 2013 thing. I've said it before, I'll say it again. That is one of the best features that SimCity 2013 did, and I'm so glad that Cities 2 has done it. I've also got Prop and Tree Anarchy on, and I don't remember how to turn it off. So I'm gonna have to go into here. It's probably in the options somewhere. Hold on a minute. Shift P, in case you were curious. It's Shift P to turn off Prop and Tree Anarchy. So now that that's done, what I think we'll do is we'll sort of bring this road out. We do have parking lots that I can play with, and I think some parking lots by the train station would be a good idea. So I'll sort of bring this road up. We'll bring this road kind of over. And I don't remember where the parking lots are either. Oh my God, it's been so long since I've played this. I know they're in one of these categories, but I just don't remember which one. Regardless, I want some parking lots. There they are. I want some parking lots in here, and we'll use this as sort of a way to get people like up and around towards the train station, and that'll be good. I'm also going to go for, I think here for a parking lot. I think we'll sort of bring this guy over. And do I want to come straight down? I am going to be putting it right up against this helipad, which I don't know if I want to do that. It is going to get rid of some of my bushes if I do that, or not. Apparently Prop and Tree Anarchy being off has done absolutely nothing, so fair enough. That's fine. This also probably isn't big enough for another parking lot. It absolutely is. That doesn't look too bad. I don't know what those sidewalks are. I don't know why these sidewalks have like a nice sort of like white sidewalk on them, and why the rest, I don't know what's going on anymore. Oh, is it because I used this? Oh, am I, how am I this bad? How have I forgotten this much? Oh no. I've completely forgotten how to play City Skylines. Although in saying that, I haven't forgotten how to use Move It, and that makes me very, very happy because I can move these little pedestrian paths right up against these good old parking lots, and that looks absolutely perfect. So people can walk between the parking lots. I've decided to put the train station on a pedestrian path as well because I figured why not? I can do some detailing in these spaces. And I'm also thinking that I might go in here and say that we're going to do a little something like this. Some trees, I think, or at least some grass will look pretty solid there. I don't want to do it on these roads because people are going to be driving over the grass, and I think it would look a bit weird. I could do a median there. I think that's probably, is that too much? Is that too much? Is that? Yeah, I think that's too much because I'm going to be doing trees in those grassy gaps anyway, so that's totally fine. And then I suppose what we'll do is we'll go in here and just paint this as a pedestrian zone since it has to be one anyway. So we'll bring this sort of down. This is just going to be, I guess, we'll call it like the airport or the airport train station or something like that, since that's, I mean, that is what it is. And we'll just go ahead and extend this up a little further. I would like it to be a little bit neater than that because as we know, a neat district is a happy district. But that's probably fine for now. Let's get this thing renamed very quickly. And then we also need a service point for a pedestrian area. So I'm going to go for the large one right there just because it fills in the space really nicely. And I think if anything, I'm going to rotate that around so it faces this way. So it looks a little bit more interesting. I mean, you are driving up to look at a big white wall, but that's totally fine. I think we'll also just bring a road sort of back like this. And I realize that's not the road I wanted. I realize with a little bit of anarchy, that technically means I can bring that road in there. So it kind of looks, and you know, I'm sort of here for that. It sort of looks, if I grab you and sort of extend it to say there, I mean, I could extend it further. Long story short, it looks like it's a part of the the building, right? And it looks like this thing has like a way into the back, which I'm sort of here for. The only issue with that is I didn't install the mod that lets me remove the trees from the building, so we're not going to be doing that. But honestly, having this road back here is totally fine. I think what I'll do is just sort of shuffle it back a little bit so it kind of lines up with the existing concrete. And then we'll bring some fences around this or something to make it look official, and that'll be all right. What we can also do is extend this pedestrian area over the building, and that should mean that that pedestrian area is now functioning exactly the way I want it to. Obviously, I could flip this building around if I really wanted to sort of force the pedestrian area cargo traffic back that way. But I don't know that I love these containers just being visible here. I mean, this side of the building is more interesting to look at, but I think we'll just stick to the plan. So now all I need to do is bring a train straight across here. And I knew this was going to happen. I knew the height would be too high. So we are going to be using a bit of anarchy to do this, which is totally fine. Look, the bridge, there was a bridge here already before I deleted it. So as ridiculous as that might look, as tall as those pillars might be, the base game had a train track that did this before. So it is what it is. Is it silly looking? Yes. Do I love it? No, but it's here and we're just going to have to deal with it. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to try to get a decent sized brush to slope from this point to that point. And I'm not really 100% sure what this is going to look like, but we're going to try it. Something like that. So I should be able to bring this guy sort of straight along for quite a while, then eventually curve it over there. And that'll be absolutely perfect. So this is just going to run pretty much the entire length of that new space that I made. We can turn on road guidelines, and I should hopefully be able to get this to snap. If I remember right, aren't the distances in City Skylines 1 really bad for the road guidelines? I have to be like much closer to actually make this work, which is fine. I mean, look, the game's nearly 10 years old. I'm not going to criticize, but yeah, these distances are a little bit rough. It's another thing that I'm kind of used to in City Skylines 2 that I am now desperately missing a little bit in the first game, but it's not the end of the world. We'll go ahead and get rid of these trees along the tracks. We'll get rid of all of the trees and all of the fallen trees along the tracks as well. And at the very least, this is going to give us an accessible train track that I can now use to bring some trains into the rest of the city, which I'm very excited about. I would like to smooth this out though. This looks absolutely terrible. It's going to continue to look pretty bad because we're just going to have this train track that's like floating way above the ground, but it'll be okay. We'll smooth all of this out. We'll try and connect this. I don't know how I'm going to connect that train station, to be quite honest with you, but we'll figure it out. And wouldn't you know, it turns out all we needed was to upgrade these guys into bridges, and I'm honestly okay with that. It's not the best looking, but it does the job. This is nicely smoothed out as well. So in terms of connecting this train station, I don't really want to go too crazy with stupid bends and curves on this. I'm kind of thinking what I might do is bring a line in from over here straight across and sort of down to the train station. So this curve that we just built, I'm going to get rid of this guy, and I am basically going to sort of run a bit of track straight over here. So just a nice straight line, something like this. We'll turn off our guidelines. I do love being able to press numpad 1 to turn off the road guidelines. That's a really nice touch that I do miss in City Skylines 2. I think you can set that hotkey in the sequel. I'm not 100% sure, but I kind of miss it regardless. Now, obviously this doesn't work right here, but that's fine. We're going to come off of here as best we can. In fact, I'm just going to sort of eyeball this a little bit. We'll sort of line it up with this road is what we'll do. So right about there, and we'll say right about there. We'll take out that entire middle section, and that's hopefully going to be the curve that we're looking for. And I'm pretty sure I can use network multi-tool to do this, right? I don't remember how network multi-tool works, but I would want to go from like here, right? I really don't remember how this works at all. I'm going to be honest with you. It's been so long since I've played around with this. There's what I'm looking for. So I want to do arrange line mode, slope mode. I don't know which one I want to do. Create curve mode. That's what I'm looking for. So from there to there, that's what I want. Press enter to create. Look at that. That's perfect. Now, I am by no means trying to throw shade here, but you want to know something that City Skylines 1 has that City Skylines 2 doesn't? Fences. And that's a cliff. Fences, and I love them. I forgot how much I love fences in City Skylines, especially to, you know, outline an airport, which by all means should have fences around it. I love this. I really do. Again, not trying to throw shade. I'm not, you know, I don't really have a horse in this race. I really do. Really looking forward to the day that we get I open Twitter and there it is, you know, at City Skylines, fences are on the way. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I also want to get some nice little curves on these corners because apparently that's what I did on all of the other corners for this place. So we have this little area blocked off here, which is absolutely perfect. I think the fence might be sort of facing the wrong way in a few places, but it's not the end of the world. I do want to put some fences around this train station at some point as well, but at the very least, it is now connected to the region, which means that we might actually see some regional trains coming in here, which is very exciting. It does have intercity trains allowed, so this is kind of cool. I could probably also do a little bit of zoning out here if I wanted to. Maybe a couple of low-density commercial buildings just next to the train station would be an idea. I don't know if they're actually going to want to build out here, but I'm going to give them the option to do that. I'm also going to just extend the tracks a little bit because I don't want them building too much back there. So we'll do something like this. Again, I don't really know if anyone is going to build in there, but again, we'll sort of give them the option. We could do some offices here as well. Do I want to do offices? Do we need to do offices? We don't really need to do offices, but I think I might anyway. And I think I might also just extend the pedestrian path here to that spot and then maybe do some little offices here. We'll probably also want to do some kind of high-rise ban on this, so it's going to need to be a separate district to have that happen, but we'll bring this back as a pedestrian area down to there. We want to set it as a normal district as well and bring it sort of just down onto the roads. It doesn't really need to go down onto the roads now that I think about it. It kind of just needs to be at that intersection. In fact, really, it just needs to be that little spot. So Crescent Square, I mean, sure, I guess. We'll just say high-rise ban. And I don't think, I mean, Modern City Center, we could do Modern City Center. We could do Modern City Center and we could use that to get some interesting looking buildings in here. But I don't know if that's going to give me anything. I don't know if that's going to change anything because that's high density if I remember right. So maybe we'll test it. We have the technology. We'll switch this out to be, I can't overlap them anymore. Oh man, we'll swap these guys out to high density. We'll see what that looks like with Modern City Center. It might look better. It might look worse, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I've also decided to use Traffic Manager to set up the priority signs on this roundabout, which I love. Shift click and you can just bulk edit all of them. Shift control click will quick set up high priority road and roundabout. So if I just do that, there's now no crossing over. People can enter the junctions and all that good stuff. So that roundabout's good. This one, same thing. Shift control click and this roundabout is good to go. Do I have roundabouts down here? I absolutely do. Same thing. Shift control click to just let the traffic go. And here's hoping that that does exactly what I want it to do. Do I have more roundabout? I do. I have so many roundabouts in this city. Good Lord. I don't know if I need them all, but I've got them. Is this flowing any better than it was? Not really. My genius with the lane merging seems to have done absolutely nothing, but that's fine. So I think at this point, I want to try and detail this space a little bit. So I'm going to go in and take out a bunch of these trees, just these ones around here. This space I'm sort of okay with. And this space in here, I'm going to, I mean, it doesn't and probably shouldn't be anything crazy fancy. It's an airport isn't somewhere you necessarily go to hang out. So I don't necessarily want to have a bunch of pedestrian plazas and things in here. Admittedly, we do have hotels, but again, these are airport hotels. People aren't going to be coming here to hang out. They're staying here for nights while they wait for a plane, which is actually my plan next time I go to Sweden. Because let me tell you, man, I'm getting too old for these 16-hour travel days. I'm really starting to fall in love with traveling again, which makes me very happy because for a while there, I felt like I was sort of falling out of love with traveling. I'd done it a lot over the years. In so many City Skylines videos, I've talked about my trips and my perils and all that stuff when it comes to traveling. It's just these 16-hour days, waking up at 3 in the morning in a cab at 4, airport by like 5, on a flight by 6 or 7, and then, you know, you're waiting. I always leave. Oh my God, there's so many people just got off that train. That's what I'm looking for, though. This is perfect. This is what should be. Oh my God, there's so many people got off that train. Good Lord. All right. I also swapped out the style here for shopping malls, which I think looks so much better because they're wall to wall and relatively small. So this is exactly what I was looking for these buildings. Anyway, oh wow. Are they all going? They're all going for helicopters. Oh man. I do have a vehicle controller mod that lets me have higher capacity on helicopters, but I don't think I should. They're helicopters after all. Anyway, the point that I'm getting at is I do really enjoy traveling. I do. I really enjoy traveling. I just can't do these 16-hour days. I can't do these days where, like I said, it's up at, oh no. Oh no. Oh no, the prop line tool isn't working. Oh no, please. I don't think I have auto saving on. I'm going to have to build everything again. No. Okay, it's fine. I can place these by hand. It's not the end of the world. It's a little tedious, but apparently prop line tool does not want to work. I didn't have to reload everything. It's totally fine. Anyway, long story short, when I was going to Sweden, I was up super early. I didn't get there where I was going until almost, we'll say 11 p.m. So I had been awake for about 20 hours by the time I got there. And it's not one of these journeys where you can sit and relax. Anytime I've gone to the United States, that's kind of how it is, because you just get on a plane and it takes 9 hours. It takes 10 hours to get where you're going, depending on whether it's East Coast, Central, or West Coast. So you get to the airport and you might be tired, but at least once you get on the plane, you can just lay down and go to sleep, because guess what? You're on that plane for the next 9 or 10 hours. When you're going to sort of anywhere in Europe, unless you're flying directly to your end destination. So for example, I wasn't going to Stockholm, but if I was, I would have just flown straight into Stockholm. Now, admittedly, it's still a similar problem. The problem is essentially this, right? The flights aren't that long. It is an hour from where I live to either Scotland. Well, it's like 45 minutes to Scotland. It's about an hour to London, which is where I was going on the flight to Sweden. So I fly for an hour to London. And because the airline that I fly with, it's one of the only airlines. Can I not rotate this? Interesting. It's one of the only airlines that does the trip that I wanted to do. They're not very reliable. So I booked something like 4 or 5 hours of layover time in London, so that if my flight is delayed, which, spoiler, it was, I still catch it. Even if I was delayed by 2 hours, I still would have caught my connecting flight. I wouldn't have been stranded in London, which is good. Now, I might have missed my train on the other side, but that's where the other problem is. It's an hour flight to London. It's a 2-hour flight to, in this case, Copenhagen. And then it's 3 hours in a train. And then it's half an hour on a bus and things like that. I loved it. It was an amazing trip and I'm looking forward to going back. But you just have no time to really get comfortable, because by the time you're comfortable and you're falling asleep, you're waking up to get off the plane and you're getting ready to go and just sit in an airport for 3 or 4 hours waiting on your connection. So you are literally genuinely on your feet for the full 16 hours. I got maybe an hour of sleep before I left home. I slept for maybe 30 minutes of the flight to London. And I slept for, I don't know, I slept for a little bit of the flight to Copenhagen, but not a whole lot of it. It's just, again, I loved it. I'm looking forward to going back. Man, I think next time what I'm going to do, this all started from a conversation about airport hotels. This is me bringing it back to the topic, right? What I'm going to do next time is I'm going to fly to either Scotland or London to catch my connection. I'm just going to have my connection be the next day. It'll just be the first flight out to Copenhagen the next day. I'll stay in a hotel. I'll relax. I'll get there nice and refreshed. It'll be good. Because I'm old now. I'm 30. And I realized I talked about this in the I'm going on vacation video. The comments in that were lovely, by the way. I know 30 is not, it's not that old. But I feel it. I really do. I can't sit up for 24 hours anymore. My back hurts, my shoulders hurt. I need to get up and stretch more than I used to. When I fall down, I don't bounce anymore. You know, like when you take it for granted. Oh God, I really am sounding old. You do take it for granted when you're young though. When you're younger, when you fall, you just kind of get back up. If I fall over now, I start like, my brain immediately goes, well, guess I'm going into the home. Guess I better start looking for some nice retirement homes because that really hurt. Now, coming back to City Skylines, you know what I really miss in the sequel? This tree. I really miss this tree in the sequel, I'm not going to lie. And good Lord, I think these guys are all going to a football match. I think that's what's going on. I might need to move this helipad, I'm not going to lie, because there are so many. How many people are on that train? There's a lot. There's so many. I love this. That's so cool. I do love that this thing has actually ended up being kind of successful, even if it's overwhelming my my helicopters. Now, what I would like to do is I want to go in here and I'm going to extend the fence from the airport sort of over to these bushes a little bit. So what we'll do is get ourselves this guy, and I'm going to try my best to sort of line this up in a way that's not going to be terrible looking. And I think we'll just sort of do this. I mean, yes, it's not the most friendly looking, but again, it is an airport, right? You're not coming here to hang out. You're coming here to go somewhere. So that should sort of be your priority, I think. So what I'll do is sort of snap this guy to about there. We can take this little corner piece out and get a nice little curve in there. And we'll do maybe a nice tree to sort of hide the fact that this is a little rough looking, but we'll do this sort of thing. Maybe sort of a similar story in here. We can put in just a little node there, a little node right about there as well. Take out those sections. And then I should be able to get this to line up nicely like so. And then what we can do, I guess, is just bring this guy straight over. Like, I think that's a 90-degree angle there. We'll take this middle bit out. We'll get a nice little curve going on this bit. And I'm sort of okay with that. In fact, what we could probably do is just take out this entire section here and just run a bit of fence straight down there. That might not be a terrible idea. So let's see, is that a little something that we can do? We can run this guy to about there. We can run this guy to, in fact, can I just intersect them? I absolutely can. Do I want to keep that intersection on it? Not really. I want it to be a nice little curve the way they have been the entire way around here. So we'll get that going. Obviously, a bit of a right angle going on here. Not the end of the world. We'll just go ahead and line these guys up, and that looks fine. I don't really want people walking out this way anyway, so what I think I'll do as well is just use move it to extend this guy up to here. And I'm going to use move it to just copy these bushes because it's acting a little bit weird when I try to, why didn't I use move it to just do the bushes the entire way? Oh man, I really am out of practice with City Skylines. I am so out of practice with this game, but that looks fine. I would be tempted to bring the fence around here a little bit more, but I don't think we need to do that. I don't think I need to run it down the back here either. I could. I absolutely could. I just don't think I need to. I might, but I don't think I need to. All right, so with the bushes all around this, with some fences all around this, and some fences behind the buildings, which we didn't really need to do, but I did figure it would look a bit nicer, especially if we change this one out to a nice little wooden fence, which the other side doesn't have the luxury of. The other side is just this, which is fine. The last thing I want to do in here is just fill this little space in with a little something. We'll use the park fence because it is easily the best one for this job. And then all I really need to do is build this in here once and then just copy and paste it because I do want a little bit of symmetry in this whole thing. So we'll go for about there for the park fence. We'll bring it out to there. We'll bring it all around this space. And that's essentially what I'm looking for right there already. So that's absolutely perfect. And then all I need to do is go in here, I think, with some of the, I believe that's the linden tree, right? Yeah, young linden, good old young linden. Right about there. We'll go for right about there as well. And I think that looks okay. I'd be tempted to go in with some generic pine trees, maybe in the middle for a little bit of a height variation. Is that too much? That's too much. Yeah, that's definitely too much. We'll just stick, I think, with the young linden. So we want to get our marquee tool. We only want to grab the trees and the nodes here. And I don't want to grab roads. I just want to grab the trees and the fences. And I should be able to copy and paste this. I don't remember how to keep this thing snapped. It's something like this, I guess. Doesn't really want to play nicely. So you know what? We're just going to go and sort of eyeball it a little bit. So we can hopefully get this to work nicely. So that looks like a decent spot there. Does that line up? It sort of does. We could probably shuffle it down a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. We'll do exactly the same thing over here. We'll just eyeball it a little bit and see if it lines up, which that also sort of does. I don't really think I'm ever going to look at this thing as closely as I'm looking at it right now, so it doesn't really matter if it lines up perfectly. We can just, once again, eyeball it a little bit, and that is totally fine. So that gives us our detailing in those grassy spots. That gives us our trees, our fences. The entire thing is enclosed. And other than the occasional abandoned building because there's not enough workers, it gives us a train station that gives us a regional connection. People can get here easily. They can take helicopters. They can take metro. They can take the cable cars. They can take whatever, buses probably. They can take a lot of things to get out here, which is very, very exciting. Now, I'm also losing a lot of money. Good Lord. How am I losing so much money? How is that going on? So that's the airport hotel. I have got the, are we having a death wave? No, I have got these guys. I have got these big old hotels making good amounts of money. Managed hotels. How are we doing? Total profit, 34,000. Am I really not making that much money? How have I managed? I don't know what's going on. My taxes look okay, which is fantastic. I'm really not that concerned about this because, to be quite honest, it'll probably work itself out. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit weird. Regardless, let's go ahead and take some trees out of these parking lots because I've just noticed that they're in there. I've also noticed people parking in here, so I think we are going to have to go in and change up some of these roads just a little bit. We'll give them the wider sidewalks so that they are going to behave exactly how we want them to. So people aren't going to be parking on the roads by the parking lots. And then over here, honestly, I think we'll do exactly the same thing. Just get the sort of wider sidewalks in there. I think it looks decent. And I like this a lot. Do we have traffic lights around here? We don't, which is fantastic. Oh, that's so many people. That's so many people, but it's so good because they just come out, they walk through. Yes, they're going straight for helicopters, which I don't love, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. It's not the end of the world. Do I want to bring some buses in here? We have a lot of buses that come in here. I don't think we do. I think the only thing I'd maybe want to do with this is be a little bit cheeky. And you know what I also miss from this game? This. The ability to just place a bus stop without needing to actually place the stop. I understand why it's a thing in City Skylines 2, but it's weird. I do miss how sort of simple it used to be. Anyway, what I want to do here is I kind of just want to bring a little shuttle bus that goes back and forth like this. I know it's completely pointless. I know it's not going to be all that popular. So this is Airport Line 7. We'll call this Airport Line 7, and we'll put shuttle in brackets. So it goes back and forth from the train station to the airport. And I think what we'll do is we'll just use the minibus. And I'm going to make this line like sort of, I don't know, greenish. We'll go for like that color, maybe sort of more of a green there. And we'll see what that looks like. We'll see how that goes. We'll see if that's something that people use. I have my doubts because they can just walk that distance. But honestly, a little bit more traffic around here. I mean, well, you know, it'll be fine. It'll be totally fine. Where's my, where are my shuttle buses? What, do I have a bus depot? Is that one? Yeah, there it is. Look at you. All right. I don't think anyone's going to use that, but it'll look cool. And that's all that matters. Oh no, hold on a second. We've had a train show up and a bunch of people are getting off. And it looks like there's three people waiting for, wait, have we got 3 people waiting for that bus? Let me see. We do. We only have 1 bus on the line, by the way. There were 4, but I decided we probably only need 1, given that there's only 3 people, you know, getting off a train versus the 200 that went for the helicopter. But that's fine. That's that's totally fine. That's sort of what we're looking for, is just a little, it's an option that takes you from here to over here. Maybe some old, you know, some older people get off the train. They're like, oh, you know, my legs, my hips. It's me, basically. I've just fallen over in the train and I'm like, my legs, my hips. I need a bus to get me over there. That's what this is for. And honestly, it just looks interesting. It looks kind of cool. So that's what we're doing. Now, here's the other cool detail about having 25 tiles up to 81 tiles available. It means that I can finally come in here and build the cargo extension to the international airport, which I would absolutely love to do. And that's actually why I wanted to build a little train connection here. It's one of the other reasons I wanted to do this, because it means that I can have a train come in here either to a cargo train station or to, I think, a connection on the airport itself, meaning that we have multiple avenues to get cargo to and from that airport. Of course, we can also now go ahead and connect some trains to the rest of the city, which is one of the major requests that we had throughout this series so far. So I'm absolutely looking forward to doing that, but that is going to be something that we're doing next time. We're not going to be doing that today. So thank you so much for watching. We are going to be leaving it there for today. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.